Hello, friends. My name's Michelle, and I call myself the Beauty Treasure Hunter. Today, I'm going to be trying out the new Makeup Forever HD Skin Balancing and Perfecting Foundation. Now, I have been a fan of Makeup Forever for a long time, but I've not had my favorite shade since like the very first version, the Ultra HD. It was in a shade that they don't make anymore, so I'm curious to see if this one will be close. I'm also going to try out, I've tried this more than once, the new e.l.f. Set It Bright powder to see if I like it as well as my Cars Land. I have some recommendations as far as colors go on the new L'Oreal Tinted Balm. So you'll want to hang with me and see which one of those shades really packs a punch and which one is totally non-existent. So if you want to see how I got this look and find out about these products, then hang with me. All right, here we go. I have already put on this Nivea Super 50 Water Gel sunscreen. Really like it. It's like my second favorite up against the Japanese version of the Biore Aqua Rich. Gonna prime my eyelids today with something that's very similar to the MAC Paint Pot in Painterly, and it is by Moira. It's the Lasting Priming Cream Shadow in number 3 Rose Sand. It's a little bit darker than the Paint Pot, and it's creamy, a little bit tacky, but still spreads easily. I like to put a little bit on the lower lash line. So much cheaper than the Painterly. For eyeshadow today, I'm going to use the Ethereal palette, Keep It Ethereal by e.l.f. It's supposed to be very similar to the Ethereal palette by Makeup by Mario. And I'm not going to get fancy and do one side this and the other side something else today. I'm just going to use the e.l.f. Going to start with my 142 concealer buffer and going to go with the lightest matte. Okay, now I'm going to use my 231 Detail Crease Definer. And I'm going to go with the next matte, kind of light brown. I'm going to go with this little wispy thing. It is a 224 defined crease, but it's a little bit longer, so it has a little bit more flex. And I'm going to go to the darkest chocolate brown matte on the end and do my circles. Pull it in just a little bit, not all the way. Do circles in both directions, trying to get all the little creases and folds. Okay, now I'm going to take this Detail Smoky Blender 230, but it's just your basic pencil brush. And I'm going to use, let's see, this shade right here. It is a shimmer. Let's see if it's going to be dark enough to suit me. Okay, I'd like for it to be darker, so I'm going to go into this copper shimmer here. It looks like it's going to be copper, but then it ends up being more of a bronzy shade. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side just to get that mix. So that was the lighter shimmer. And here comes the one that's supposed to be copper. Okay, now I think I'm going to go with this really warm terracotta color for right above my upper lash line. Since this is kind of similar to an orangey color that's supposed to make blue eyes really show up. Okay, I think I need a little bit more of my light brown on this eye. I'm going to take a clean 227 eyeshadow blender and blend. Okay, now I'm going to see if either of these shimmers down here are sparkly enough to do the center of my lid. I did, let's see this one right here. I don't even see it. I've not used this palette much, and that has kind of hard panned. So looks like I'm picking it up on my finger, but it's really hard to get it to be on the lid. I'm gonna try the lighter one now. Okay, that's better. It's a nice shimmer, but it doesn't sparkle. So I'm gonna pick up the original Ethereal palette, and I know the one that sparkles the most in this one is right here. Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of sparkle I need in my life. Clean up the edges. My brows, I'm going to use my LA Colors Brow Kit. This one's in medium. I like to dip into the taupe and the charcoal color with just an angled brush. And the brow gel that I think gives me like the best of both worlds. It's not super hard and crunchy, but it has enough of hold to tame my wild ones, is the Super Lock by Maybelline in the clear. This is going to be a repurchase for sure. I'm about out. Now I'm going to go into some good old L'Oreal Lumi Glotion in 904. I can even use the 905. It's the darkest. Because the foundation I'm going to use today is a little bit lighter, and hopefully this will still peek through. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of concealer under my eyes. This is the Essence Silky Blur. I have it in shade 130. And this is a nice concealer brush by Y'all 270S. And you get this brand on Amazon. I have never had anything by this brand that didn't just wow me as far as the brushes go. I don't know if they make anything else, but these brushes are very nice. They remind me of the It Cosmetics brushes. And I've really been liking this Sky Tubes mascara by Maybelline. I'm going to use that on my lower lashes. Okay, that's pretty easy. I like it when a mascara just does what it's supposed to do and I don't have to finagle it. Okay, I'm going to use my Hourglass 1.5 millimeter in Obsidian. I'm going to do a little tight lining. And I don't think I'm going to go above. I think the tight line is enough today. All right. I'm really excited because I have this new Makeup Forever HD Skin Balancing and Perfecting Foundation. I got it in 106N. And here's what it looks like. That's a pretty good shade. Now I'm going to show you my very favorite Makeup Forever. It was the very first one, I think. It's down to here. And I had it in this shade that they don't make anymore. It was R230. They've had shades that, if you like 230, this is what you should wear, but they've never matched since. So here is the R230. Isn't it perfect? one of the iterations in between the very oldest and the very newest was the Makeup Forever HD Skin. And I got it in 1R02. That's what they said I should get if I liked that shade. And here it is. So you can see it's closer to this shade than my original that they don't make anymore. That's the way it usually goes, isn't it? So I'm gonna go with the new one, show you the new one today. I do think it is more like the finish of the very first one that was my holy grail. And I'm gonna use my Kat Von D foundation brush that I got at Marshall's. You may be able to find it at Marshall's or TJ Maxx right now. Mine was $9.99 and it's the bomb. It's great. The new foundation does have a light scent, but I think it is just yummy. I love it. Okay, let me take a look at my 10X mirror. Okay, it was pretty well blended, but I always like to press into my pores a little bit more. So it feels fantastic, but now my bronzing is totally gone. So let's see what we can do about that. I'm going to use my new e.l.f. bronzer. It's in medium, and I had wished I had gotten a little bit darker, and I still may grab another one, but this is a good bronzer shade. But I usually like something in between a bronzer shade and a contour shade. Just kill two birds with one stone. I like to blend with my number 60 flat Art brush. These Art brushes correspond to the Sephora brushes at a fraction of the price. These are always linked in my description. Okay, now I heard one girl that I really like kind of write off the new L'Oreal blush balms, and she had tried this one. And here's why she wrote it off. This is the only color she had tried. It is almost non-existent. This color is Rose Lumiere, I think. And the one I really like though is Cherry Intense. I think the containers are kind of hard to open. See the difference? So I'm going to use Cherry Intense in a number 47. For my bronzer today, for my powder bronzer and my powder blush, I'm going to use my new Essence Radiant Light palette. I've really been enjoying this, and I have it in the light version. I can't wait until the other one comes back into stock. And a number 93. Let's see, I'm going to do blush first, and I think I'm going to use both of them. Just back and forth. I think use my number 50. It's pretty big, but these pans are a little bit bigger than the actual hourglass quad pans that I got. They're smaller, and I had to use a tinier brush. And I am going to go ahead and do some highlight. I'm going to use a Fenty 135. Got mine at Marshall's. I may have to do that again, but okay, first of all, I'm going to go in and set my under eyes. I've not done that yet. You know I love the LA Girl H2O Lock Powder for that, but I have another kind of water powder, and it is the Pixie Skin Veil Powder. This one's in translucent, and just a fluffy brush, just a little. I keep hearing gals say, oh, if you're over 40, don't use powder under your eyes. just a tad to set your concealer. And some people try to use setting spray to set concealer, and I just haven't had any luck with that. Now to set the rest of my face, I do have the new version of the Givenchy, and I got it in 04. It has lavender, green, and like banana and peach. And then I got the e.l.f., the Set It Bright, and it is in the light, and it has the same pretty much colors. Instead of banana, it has like a pink. But I'm gonna try this with the puff. The only thing I've not gotten used to on this is, okay, it has the little dial and you can pull it out. Really, I just prefer a mix of all the powders. So I guess the best way to do that is just dump it in your cap. But then if you don't use it all, then I'm like, okay, I have to dump it back in there. It's just a lot of maneuvering. I'm gonna press. Hopefully this will take away the pores. My Carsland powder is like my holy grail. But then I have found a Kaida powder, waterproof powder that is just as good as that, and it's just $7. So it's almost like if you have found a holy grail for $7, why look for anything else? But I figured other folks might want to know how well this e.l.f. powder works. Okay, now I'm going to look at my 10X mirror because I really never know until I look up close if it's hidden my pores or not. And really, I still see my pores. So I'm going to use some Milky rice milk facial mist that I have by Sapeio, just to kind of wet everything back down. And now I'm going to go in with my new Kaida Pinky Focus powder, what it looks like. And I'm just going into the pores here. Okay, now let me check. There is truly just something different about the formula, this type of formula. This is my Carsland. This is the Kaida. Very similar pattern, their colors. I have tried this out recently, and it's been a while since I've talked about it. My Pantene finishing spray, flexible hold number 3. And before I do that, I'm wearing a white shirt today. I'm gonna take what's left of my bronzer brush. Gonna go all the way down, sling my necklace to the side, and I'm gonna focus on this area first. Now I'm gonna do my face. It smells great. You get a ton of it. Let's see, I have the 7-ounce can. I'll pop the price at Walmart on the screen. It doesn't break me out, and I have pretty sensitive skin. And I still need to do my lips. I got this Perfectionist Lip by Melt. It's in the color Cinnamon, and I got mine at TJ Maxx, and I have been loving it. I love the color. I love the wear. And you know how I like to collect MAC lipsticks? I got $5.40. Thanks, it's MAC. Here's what it looks like in the bullet. That's so pleasant. It's a satin. I think it has a little bit of a shimmer. Now I'm going to go over it with some Morphe. It's the Lust Potion in Thirst Trap. It's kind of bluish sparkly, but it ends up like silvery. So this is my final look for the day. I'm getting ready to go babysit. So I'm excited. The new Makeup Forever feels fantastic. No, it's not my exact shade again, but I might be able to add a little bit of my lavender, that trick, to it and get it closer to that magic shade for me. But it feels fabulous. I love my new lipstick. I think the eyeshadow, the e.l.f., as far as the mattes go, it's a great alternative to the Ethereal palette by Makeup by Mario, but you just can't beat those sparkles in the Makeup by Mario palettes. I really do like the new L'Oreal blush, but it's in the Cherry Intense shade. not the rose one. The rose one it's more like a very light lip gloss. They say you can use it as a highlighter, but I don't think it doesn't have enough. It looks wet. It looks like you've put lip gloss on your face instead of a really good highlighter. But I am loving the Essence, the Radiant Light Palette. Loving this. Love the blush shades. Love the matte bronzer. Just 10 out of 10, and it's $10.99. You can't beat that with a stick. So thank you for watching and spending some time with me today. I hope it took your cares away for just a little while. That's why I'm doing it. It helps me. And I look forward to meeting you in the comments. And I hope you see me next time.